What made you decide to move into, let's take pictures of half naked women?
Yes, I actually started as a lingerie model and a tattoo and nude model. I loved how it made me feel, but I didn't love how the photographers made me feel. So it was really hard to continue to love something like that when the people who are responsible for those images were icky. And so I quickly got out of that, but I was photographing families and weddings, and honestly, I didn't love it as much as I loved the modeling side, but I didn't want to go back to modeling. I was like, how can I do something like that? So I looked into boudoir, and I fell in love with it. Even though I'm not in front of the camera anymore, I love being able to, ignite that inner spark for other women.
Were you already confident in your own body when you started doing the modeling?
No, I definitely had to grow into it. Honestly, the only reason I started was because I loved getting tattoos, and a lot of tattoo artists, they love blank canvases. The more skin you have, more than likely you're either going to get a discount or you can go to a tattoo show and show off the tattoo that way. That's how I got started, mostly for the tattoos. But then the more I was in front of the camera, the more I was like, oh, I actually do really like this. I like showing off my skin. I don't mind being half naked or completely naked. And yeah, it was definitely not something I started with. And that's kind of what I've taken into my business. Confidence isn't a requirement, it's a result. And I love that.
What was it about the photographers that didn't mix well?
Honestly, a lot of them are just creepy. I hate to say that, but a lot of the time I was doing free sessions. I did eventually work my way into getting paid for what I did, but in the beginning, you have to start either free or extremely cheap. And I just hated how those photographers made me feel. They made me feel very sexualized, and yes, I am naked in front of their camera and or half naked or whatever, but that's their profession. That's their job. They're not supposed to sexualize me. They're supposed to photograph me. They're supposed to highlight my curves. They're supposed to make me feel like I'm safe. And a lot of them just didn't.
What is it that you see now when people come to you? Why are people taking these pictures, and what's the transformation that you see from the first initial call to seeing the final result?
The number one reason people get on the phone with me is for healing, honestly. The number two reason is for a gift for somebody else. But they call, whether they're going through a divorce or, they're just not in a good mental space, and they've tried therapy, or they've tried going to get a massage, or just some type of self-care, or they've tried a ton of self-care things. But then, their girlfriend or a Facebook ad pops up and it's like, okay, well, maybe I could try this. And so a lot of the times I get on the phone, well, I don't know how to pose. I don't know how to be sexy. I don't think that I am sexy or even worth doing this for. And then as soon as pretty much within the first 10 minutes of their session, after their hair and makeup is done, they've had a chance to really connect with me more other than over the phone, they already are a brand new person. They just needed that one person to be like, you are that bitch.
Does it take a little bit to warm up to the camera for them?
Some clients, yes, but typically no. Because, when I'm there, I talk to them just like I've been friends with them for 10 years, and I never let it be quiet or awkward. I'm always talking, I'm always moving, or always doing something. That way, if they don't know where to put their hand, or they don't know what to do with their face, they don't have to worry about that. And I don't want them to think about it either. 9 times out of 10, even all of my clients will say it, oh, when you had me do that, it felt really weird and I didn't like it at all. And not in like an uncomfortable sense, just as in like, this is different. I don't know how this would be attractive sense. But then when they see the picture, they're like, holy crap, I don't know how that pose was even remotely pleasant to look at.
What would be an example of that?
A lot of the times I will have my clients upside down, like on a chair or a bed, and I'll have them arch their back. Their head needs to go this way. Their hand needs to go right here. Their other hand in between their thigh. And they're just like, I am so uncomfortable. I don't do this at home. I don't know how this looks attractive. It's all angles. That's another thing that I really love about this too, is you get to see yourself from somebody else's perspective. So even though it may be uncomfortable or different or new in the way that you're doing it right now, the way that somebody else is seeing you, it's completely different.
Is there something that you will talk about, like how to prep in terms of mentally, internally prep? I feel like most of us have been taught this idea that your sexual appeal, it's the outside, when at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you dress yourself, it doesn't matter how you look, you may or may not feel sexy. How will you coach a client to prep that internal mental state?
Everybody has their own version of what sexy is. I have clients who think being completely nude is sexy or being completely clothed is sexy. I always tell my clients, just hype yourself up a little bit, read affirmations. I'm huge into affirmations. Talk to yourself in the mirror, talk to your body like she's your best friend. Would you talk to your best friend like she's ugly? Would you talk to her like she doesn't deserve to wear that dress? Like things like that. And just let go of what society thinks is sexy. Society is shifting. It's really social media, I guess, but society in general is shifting. We are starting to accept more that curved bodies are beautiful. All skin types are beautiful. So really just let go of everything that you learned or that you were taught growing up. You have to unlearn those bad habits. So if you just let those go, and then if you just try on a dress or a lingerie set or whatever you feel you would want to wear for your boudoir session, and then really just start to, I don't like to say fake it till you make it, but it kind of is that way, just because if you're not already there, I can't say just believe it, but it is kind of like a fake it till you make it kind of thing.
Do you feel like your own beliefs around sexuality have changed doing this work?
Yes, just because like I do think back to like, growing up, seeing magazines and TV, Britney Spears, they were all very slender and half naked, or blonde, or not heavily tattooed, things like that. Growing up with those idols, it wasn't hard to understand that all people are beautiful, but it's not something that you saw a lot. So getting into this industry, because also when I started as a tattoo model, there weren't a lot of bigger bodies either. Now there is, but when I started, there wasn't a lot of different ethnicities either. But now I am starting to see more of that, and I'm super happy about that. I never personally thought it was wrong or shameful or, like bigger bodies can't be beautiful. It's just not something that we saw.
One of the questions that somebody posted was, how can this help me with my confidence? Do you think is it the hair and makeup? Is it the posing? Is it seeing the result? Is it the experience of when they finally let go in front of the camera? Like, what do you think is the thing that helps them with confidence?
Definitely hair and makeup helps with that. I do have clients opt out of hair and makeup just because it's not something that they're used to doing and they don't know if they would like it. I always tell clients just give it a try anyway, because it is really hard to be in a mental state of, I'm not gonna like this, I'm not gonna have fun while you're literally in the process of being pampered. So even if you're not used to wearing hair and makeup or have never had it at all, just having somebody play with your hair and, just tell you, oh, you have a great jaw structure or things like that as the process is going on, that definitely helps clients get into that mentality of, I'm gonna be a boss ass bitch today. It's just, especially for me, like I know when I'm being pampered, even if I'm getting a massage and my hair's a mess and whatever, I feel 10 times better. That's part of the reason why I really like including the professional hair and makeup with that, because it does help with the mentality.
I think the other person had a similar question, but it was around, can't stand being in my own skin. How can I even begin to consider this?
You don't start with confidence 9 times out of 10. It's a result. A lot of my clients, they'll come to me 2, 3, 4, 5 times a year just because boudoir can kind of be seen as a test run, I guess. Most of the time when you're in a boudoir studio and you're getting your boudoir photos taken, you are in lingerie or you are, posing naked or very close to it. Having somebody else hype you up while you're in that vulnerable stage, like I said, it lights that inner spark for women, so they feel that much more confident in that kind of vulnerable setting. By the time they leave the studio, by the time they see their husbands, wives, whoever, they're feeling themselves. So it's hard to talk shit about somebody when you just saw how incredible they just did. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how it is. It's hard to bag on yourself when you just quite literally saw yourself in a new lens.
Do they ever get back to you a few months after and report on how their life has changed in some way after the pictures?
Yeah, I have a lot of clients actually. They'll message me within a few days or a few weeks, even, especially if they got a digital package and their partner was able to see them already. I've had a couple clients when they finally get their albums and stuff. They're like, yes, as soon as the hubby opened that up, we had a great night. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Do you also work with couples or males, or is it only with women?
I used to dabble in both. I don't work with men one-on-one just because I don't specialize in that. I would absolutely hate for, a male to come into my studio and then leave not feeling empowered or confident. I just haven't personally taken the time to educate myself on like the most flattering poses and things like that for one-on-one sessions with a male. As far as couples, yes and no. I do work with them. It's just not something that I do all the time. And that also goes back to I spend time in education on like one-on-one poses with women. I haven't really done that with males. And with my couples sessions, I do the couples, but I also do individual poses. I'm more comfortable and confident doing that versus one-on-one male just because the couple session, the majority of it is going to be the couple. So I know how to pose them. I know how to do that. And the one-on-one, like with the woman getting her pictures and then the male getting his, they're much shorter than if it were just an individual hour session.
So I asked permission if it was comfortable for you to talk about how your own view of your body shifts while you're pregnant and postpartum, and then having to take care of kids and then you're pregnant again.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about your experience?
So yes, I've been struggling a lot, honestly. Every pregnancy is different, even with the same woman going through it. My first pregnancy, I loved it. I loved watching my body changed. I was even okay with the stretch marks. I loved everything of it. I genuinely felt not comfortable because honestly, there's nothing comfortable about pregnancy, but I felt more confident, I guess, and I don't know why. There wasn't anything specific, but the postpartum stage was the hardest. Even with eating right, because I was exclusively breastfeeding, so I did make sure that my diet was pretty clean. But even with eating right and going on walks, trying to get back into the gym and the exclusive breastfeeding, I kept the weight off and I went back to my pre-pregnancy body, but there's no such thing as jumping back or bouncing back like that term everybody loves. Like, oh, don't worry, after such and such time, especially if you're breastfeeding, your body's going to bounce right back. It doesn't. Your skin is different, your hips are different, like everything is different. Even if you're at the weight that you were before, you're still different. You're a different person. And especially mentally wise, you are a completely different person mentally. So during pregnancy with my son, absolutely loved it. I felt very confident. I felt very beautiful. It was very uncomfortable, but I still loved looking at myself in the mirror. Fast forward to postpartum was when I started dealing with postpartum depression, which really just took a turn for the worst. And honestly, I didn't even know I was struggling with it until about 8 months into it. There was just a lot of struggling, like looking at myself in the mirror, figuring out who I was, if I was normal, if I was okay. And then when I finally started to realize, oh, I do have postpartum depression and getting it treated and all that, fast forward probably like a year and a half later, I get pregnant again. We planned it, we did, but it's just roller coaster of things. So finding out I was pregnant again, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna love pregnancy. I'm gonna love my body changing. And I don't. I absolutely hate seeing it change again just because, like I said, like my skin is different, my hair is different, like everything is different. There's a lot going on. And I'm, dealing with prenatal depression now too. So that also, triggers some things like, if I was able to wear a pair of underwear last week and now I can't this week, oh, my body is different again. It is hard. It is difficult. I do offer maternity boudoir. I believe that the body that you're in, whether you're housing a baby or you just got done housing a baby, so you're in that postpartum recovery, it should definitely, be honored and be captured and, just honor what your body did or what it's currently doing because, we're not broken. We're just changing. We're becoming someone new.
I don't remember well where I heard it from, but around this topic. They say asking somebody who either is postmenopausal or postpartum, when are you getting your body back? It's like asking a teenager after puberty, when are you getting your body back? No, your body changed forever. I love that you say you can't go back in time.
Even like I said, even if you can get back to your pre-pregnancy weight, like, your body is still 100% different. There's no going back.
I think for my first one, I was too young to grasp too much of the body thing. But I would say I breastfed the first one for like 3.5 years. I weaned her off because I was pregnant. I was too sensitive. But then I breastfed the other one 3.5 more years. So basically, I spent like 6 years breastfeeding. And your body is not yours. There's always somebody touching you. Your boobs are definitely not yours. They are a chewing toy. They are a dispensary. They're not sexual. And if you get touched, you milk. And not everybody's into that.
Yeah, my son stopped breastfeeding about a year ago. He weaned himself off. Honestly, I wanted to go longer. I wasn't ready for it. But one day he just looked at me and he was like, I don't want that. And I was like, okay. I thought it would be a challenge because, like I said, he was exclusively breastfed. I think in total of the year and a half that he breastfed, I think he held a bottle 4 times at most. And it wasn't for long periods of time either. I mean, there was one time we dropped him off at his uncle's for like an hour or two. We had to do something, and I gave him breast milk in a bottle, and he still had like baby food and stuff, because he was like a year. But his uncle went to go get him a bottle, and then when we came to pick him up, he was like, "Does your kid know how to eat out of a bottle?" I felt really weird, and I was like, "Oh, honestly, I guess not." But yeah, no, he was very easy to wean. I was very surprised, but he hasn't breastfed in a little over a year now, and he still just, wants to touch. And I'm just like, I'm overtouched. And now with a newborn coming, I'm going to be overtouched, and having a fiance, even just a hug sometimes. Like, if you come up on a woman who just got done breastfeeding or is pregnant or both, she's overtouched.
My oldest turns 10 in like less than a month, but they both, if they see me naked or whatever, they'll go and like play with me, like, hey, this is mine.
Oh yeah, like I was getting dressed the other day and my toddler comes in and he's like trying to put his fingers between my butt crack, and I'm just like, bro, get out of here. I'm like, this is mine.
I already share my body with you enough. But yeah, after I was done breastfeeding, and they get like saggy and sad. And now they finally, I think that's a good thing about like having them young, that I guess there's a little bit more collagen. So now they're perky, now they feel good, now they don't hurt, nobody bites them. You pass them to the nipple and pulls them out.
So happy my son never bit me or did that. I didn't experience that with him.
Oh my God, mine both loved it. And I tried the whole, don't react to it. Like, how do you not react to it? Just... Oh my God. No, I don't miss that.
I feel like because my son was so easy to breastfeed, she's probably going to be a nightmare.
I had a lot of trouble with my first one, to the point that I ended both full-time breastfeeding and full-time bottle feeding. So at the beginning, we had like a tube and stuff, but she would be on the breast either way. It was exhausting. But then I finally regained my boobs as a sexual thing in my body, and I'm not longer carrying a baby all the time and things like that, so I don't feel as touched out as usual when they were younger. And then when I did my boudoir session, maybe a year ago, I think that was, finally the first time I get a push-up bra that actually works and looks nice. And I was just so happy I couldn't stop looking.
Yeah, I hear it all the time, honestly. A lot of my clients, they're in that postpartum stage. They feel like their boobs aren't as perky and what they used to be. They're probably not. Like I said, I've been through it, so I get it. I don't have a client closet anymore, so I do require my clients to bring their lingerie, but I do help them shop if they need me to. But otherwise, my guide goes over where to go, what to shop, what to look for, things like that. So when they bring these items that they probably haven't worn ever or in a very long time, they're like, oh, I don't know if my breasts are going to look great or not. And then they put it on and they're like, oh, they look a little better. But then as soon as they see the pictures, they're just like, you actually made me look like I have perky boobs.
I think it's amazing because sometimes, like you were saying, you're growing up, you're seeing all these pictures, you're seeing all these famous people that their job is to look good. That's basically what they have to do. But you don't get how much it is just having the right bra and having the right clothes that complement it in the right places. You don't think that, and then all you think is like, well, my body is inadequate. Instead of saying, hey, maybe I just need better tools that will
Yeah.
make me feel better about it.
Absolutely. You just need better tools sometimes. And not to compare bodies to hair, but I mean, my hair has changed drastically since pregnancy, since both pregnancies. I used to love my hair. It used to be beautiful. It used to be shiny. It used to not be oily. And now it's damaged and falling out and just super oily all the time. I have to wash my hair every 2 days now. Just super oily. And my skin is super oily now too. But with the right products, my hair feels good. It feels bouncy. It feels full of life again, and just meeting somebody who does it every day, who knows what they're doing, knows what they're talking about, who's educated in it, it really makes all the difference.
Something that I heard often was that people were complaining that after the boudoir session, they were getting sore because they were not used to doing the whole arc this, arc that, or whatever. So I was very intentional with that. I teach on Saturdays right now. So I started teaching classes that will intentionally give me the arc in all the places. Like, okay, let's do a lot of feet work. And I got a massage in the morning. The person I went to, and I didn't even know, she ended up having a swing. And I was like, ooh, it was so loose and nothing hurt, I would say, to anybody who's doing it. Try to do yoga, incorporate a little bit of a play of feeling sexy in your body. Put some music, turn the lights off, put headphones, really get into the body and practice those arches. I see boudoir photography as being just tasteful nudes. How would you describe what it is?
Boudoir, at least for my business. So I've learned a lot of photographers, they interpret boudoir differently, just how people interpret it. A lot of people in society look at boudoir as being porn or just overly sexualized or things like that. And there are photographers who do that. That's totally fine. That is a different genre. But even with the boudoir itself or just lingerie, boudoir doesn't have to be lingerie. It doesn't have to be tasteful nudes. It can 100% be jeans and shorts, or tank top and shorts, or tank top and jeans, or a really pretty dress. 9 times out of 10, most of my clients don't even wear lingerie. Especially for first session, they'll start in tank top and jeans or a really pretty dress, just because, especially if they're not doing it for a partner, if they're not really sure what the experience is like, they don't want to put themselves in a position where they're going to feel too vulnerable or too uncomfortable. And that's why a lot of in my verbiage and how I talk to people, this is more of an empowerment session, because honestly, you can get somebody who feels just as confident, completely clothed and empowered than as the same person who feels like that being completely naked. It goes back to a mindset thing. It's how you feel what sexy is, how you feel what your sexy is. Everybody's is different.
What are other ways that you would say people can connect with that feeling sexy within themselves, that mindset?
Letting go of society standards and what it looks like. Everybody's version of sexy, everybody's version of boudoir is different. I have clients who come in who are not confident at all. A lot of those clients are doing this for somebody else. They'll come in for a gift for a partner. Oh, we've been together, for 15 years. I just feel like I should do this for him. And, that's great. I do try to make sure over the phone, that we understand that, this is still a vulnerable setting, regardless of what you wear. Even if you decide to wear jeans and a long sleeve shirt, it's still going to be a vulnerable setting no matter what. As long as you can, walk into my studio understanding that you are in a vulnerable place, but you're safe. Just let everything go, let me be your new best friend. We'll walk through it together. We'll talk through it together. We'll start to see what feels like you. I have clients who feel their most sexy playlist is country, and then I have women who feel their most playlist sexy is Frank Sinatra. And there are women who are like, well, how do you get down to Frank Sinatra? That's their business. You know what I mean? I don't know, but that's their business.
Just listen to Naked and Lingerie as I was getting ready to say it here. By Lisa. I love your selfie guide. Can you tell people what they can find there?
My selfie guide is a free resource. I just took these pictures with my crappy cell phone camera. It's not great at all. All you need is a light source and your body and pretty much a tripod. You don't need a tripod. You could set it up on stuff if you wanted to, but to get certain angles, you definitely need a selfie stick or whatever. But yeah, it's me showing you how to do basic boudoir poses. And when I say basic, I mean basic. Range and motion in my neck. And I also am very limited in my hips. I have some injuries and a skull malformation. So these poses are extremely easy to do, but it's literally a guide that walks you step by step on where your light source should be, where your camera should be, and where you should be placed. It also goes over, I think, briefly things to wear and where to shop. So that way, if this is something that you've never done and you want to experiment with lingerie, I think I listed like a couple things on Amazon to keep it relatively, cheap for people, or, whatever. And these are, you can do them nude, you can do them in jeans, you can do them whatever. But yeah, it just goes over that. And like I said, I did it with my camera and I didn't edit them at all. I think I might have like touched up the lighting or something, but you can easily do that on any phone nowadays. And then I also mention, if you don't want to do your hair and makeup, they have apps for that. There's Facetune. There's another one too. So if you really did want your hair and makeup done, but you didn't feel like doing it or you don't know how to, they have apps for that, but it's not necessary. A majority of the poses that I did in there don't even require showing your face.
What is something you wish every woman knows?
There's a lot. I guess just do it, and not necessarily go out and hire a boudoir photographer, but just do the thing that scares you. If there's been something on your mind that you really want to do, but you're not sure how your significant other would feel, or you're not sure how you would feel, just do it. That's also another part of how to mentally prepare for something, is to just do it and see what it does for you mentally.
What is one thing you wish people would take from you today?
Just being present is the sexiest thing that you can do. A lot of that has to do with mentality. So I'm also going to talk about affirmations a little bit too. If you're not in a mental space where you feel like you can be present, whether it's in the bedroom with your partner or showing up for a relationship or something, if you feel like you can't mentally be there, I genuinely think affirmations are a wonderful start to that. Affirmations are actually how I started my self-love journey. So when I started the tattoo modeling and all of that, I would in lipstick write on my mirror every week a new affirmation, just so it was there in my face. And again, like I hate the saying fake it till you make it, but affirmations are kind of like that. You're just telling yourself over and over, I am awesome, I am cool, even if I don't believe it yet. Because eventually, you say it so many times, you are going to believe it, so just write those affirmations. Get on Google or ChatGPT or wherever and figure out what affirmations speak loudest to you, and then just start telling them to yourself every single day. So that way you can mentally get into a place where it's starting to be easy to show up, whether it's for your partner or just for yourself. My studio is located in Venice, Florida. I do travel though, so it's always an option.
Do you travel to their houses, to other studios, or how does it work to be on the road?
Sometimes, especially with couples, I'll go to their houses and we'll do sessions there. But I've actually flown out of state for clients to do sessions, as long as we have plenty of time to plan. I had, like, this was years ago, but I had planned a road trip from Florida to California. And in that road trip, I just made a couple posts like, oh, I'm going to be these states these days if anybody wants to, book a session. Because my women's Facebook group, there's a bunch of different women in there from different places. And I actually was able to get a really cool Airbnb in Utah that was like an old firehouse. And we created some really cool images in there. So I don't have to stay in my studio.
Thank you, Ryley. Thank you for spending the time with me today and sharing a bit about your work.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.